And now I would like to introduce our first speaker, Danny Akawi. As I said, he is the CEO and founder of RFRain, and he is going to tell you about his company's new smart reader. Danny?
Thank you, Mark, for the introduction. Hello, everybody. I'm glad everybody is on the call. I appreciate your time, and I hope you're going to enjoy the presentation. I'm Danny Akawi, and I will be presenting. So if you are a system integrator or a customer, and you're looking to implement a real-time asset tracking solution using RFID, you will need the following. You will need to purchase an RFID reader. And usually the RFID readers that are on the market are pretty low level that require to communicate using the LLRP protocol or the newest REST API protocol from the RAIN Alliance as well. And so you will need to have a gateway that has some firmware on it that communicates at the low level with the reader. In addition, once you get that data from the reader, which is pretty simple type of data, such as what is the tag number, you will then need to take that data and store it generally on a server that will be local, that will have some other information that you need. In addition, if you then need to have that data that's stored locally on your server, you need to have it on storage, say, in the cloud to be able to access it remotely. You will need another application to send the data to the cloud. And then once you're in the cloud, you will also need another application to be able to track your assets and get the data that you need, particularly when you need to also interface with your ERP system. In general, many companies have different ways of doing this. Most of the time, if you have a fairly large company and you have your own IT team, you can do this yourself, or you could get the help of system integrators to do this for you. The result is that most of the time this is a costly implementation as well as complex, particularly when you have, and most customers have, more than one reader and more than one area that you need to track. What RFRain did is it came up with a family of products of fixed readers and handheld readers, as well as software, in order to dramatically ease the implementation of a typical RFID implementation, as well as make it easy for system integrators to implement RFID solutions in different type of verticals. In this set of slides, I will be discussing first the hardware specification of the smart readers. Then I will speak about the Zone Manager, which is the software that comes pre-installed on the RFRain reader. And then I will discuss the Zone Manager Enterprise, which is the cloud software that allows you to get the data remotely. And finally, I will speak about the type of implementations that you can have using our advanced reader. So our advanced readers, as any reader available at the moment, it has 4 ports. It has high power, as high as 30 dB. It detects assets at a very fast rate. It runs really continuously and allows you to be able to detect tags at a millisecond level. In addition, it has many more features, including you can have a camera, which allows a typical, say, customer to be able to associate an RFID event with a video capture of that event. Say you want to know when an asset leaves a certain area, you will be notified through RFID, but also you will have a video associated with that. There are many advantages of having a camera associated with RFID, and I will discuss this later on. In addition, if, say, you have an advanced reader that is on a truck or a forklift that sits outside, you also can add a GPS to the advanced reader, which allows you to know the coordinates of the movement of these assets, as well as know when an asset is dropped and at what location it is. In addition, we have a pretty advanced GPIO that allows, obviously, the advanced reader to get events through just TTL logic. But in addition, we have a plug-and-play implementation that allows this advanced reader to act as an access control door. Simply put, you put two antennas, and then you hook them to an access control, and then you're able to open and close doors as soon as you wave your card through UHF. In addition, one of the main features we have is adding a battery to the advanced reader, which allows that reader to become fully portable. And this is used in, say, if you want to have a card and you do not want to have a lot of, say, RFID infrastructure to cover entire large warehouses, you could have a mobile, say, cart or a robot, and now you can have an advanced reader that has a battery capable of running full power for at least 4.5 hours uninterrupted in order to read the assets. In addition, if you put the advanced reader on a truck or a forklift, even if the truck is shut down or the forklift is shut down, the reader is able to continuously run and continuously store the data locally or stream it to a local server at the point. And most importantly, we are an OEM company, and so our readers have a full SDK with REST API capabilities that allow a software developer, a web developer, a PLC developer to get the data that they need and interface with their ERP system or other software application. So this is the hardware specification of the advanced reader. This slide here talks about the Zone Manager software, which is the software that comes pre-installed on the advanced reader. Now, this software has many features. Among them is obviously the ability to configure the reader through a UI, just a browser. You're able to set all the RAIN specs for the reader, or ISO 18000-60 specification with regards to power, region, frequency, and different type of modes. In addition, the Zone Manager software also holds the data on the reader. We have a database as well as tables that not only stores the data of each asset based on the tag number, custom information, the date in milliseconds when the asset was detected, the antenna where the asset is detected. So in a typical, say, doorway situation, when you have an antenna outside of the door, inside of the door, the speed of the detection allows a user to determine if an asset is moving in or moving out of a certain areas. You're also able to name the antenna by name as well. You also, the Zone Manager now is able to bring a lot of the different technologies that I spoke earlier together. For example, when you plug in a camera into the reader, you're able, we do an association with an RFID event as well as the camera image. So you're able to go to the browser and say, okay, this asset was detected at that time. Oh, and by the way, here's an image associated with it. We do the same association with GPS. We also provide the ability to enable access control through the Zone Manager. Another important aspect that we do that comes in with our Zone Manager software is providing historical information of all your asset movements. So you will know month on end where the assets are, where they were detected, and what time as well. Another interesting feature about the Zone Manager software is that it doesn't, it communicates directly to the cloud through Wi-Fi, through or a LAN through the Zone Manager Enterprise. So now at that point, with typical implementations that they will discuss later on, you're able to just have an advanced reader, plug it into power and to Wi-Fi, and stream the data, the asset information in real time to the cloud. Those are some of the features with regards to the Zone Manager. In addition, we have a multi-level access, which allows a customer or system integrator to have either admin access or user access in order not to change the type of configuration. Okay, and that's the Zone Manager software at that point. The next slide here is speaking about our Zone Manager Enterprise Cloud. The Zone Manager Enterprise Cloud, really its role is to provide the data that is collected from all the readers that are installed in a facility. Typical installations range from, well, very rarely one, but sometimes one reader to, it could be even hundreds. The advantage of the smart RFID reader is that it doesn't require a gateway, and it stores directly its data into the cloud. And so now at that point, from the cloud, you're able to see in real time the movement of the assets in an entire, say, a warehouse. In real time, how the movement is done across just your manufacturing floor or other installations, and it could be across the world as well in an easy-to-use way. In addition, we have push notifications where you can alert your software through JSON just push notification when an alert is present, an asset is present, an asset is missing, an asset moved from one location to the other, and even other custom information such as, say, an asset has an expiration date, etc. We also provide other alert capabilities using a text message or email as well. Most importantly, all our software are accessible through REST APIs, and because the software on the cloud as well as on the readers is built from the same stack, you will have a similar REST APIs across the readers or the cloud as well. Obviously, some REST APIs are only available on the reader and some are only available on the cloud. However, a lot of the APIs are similar in order to ease integration as well as implementations at this point. Other features that are used also is we stream the images as well as GPS information from our readers directly into the cloud. And so now you can receive video capture from many different readers simultaneously. Okay, and here's one of my favorite parts is speaking about what can you do with the advanced reader that we have. And in this example, I'm taking a few verticals from our current customers that deal with healthcare, access control, supply chain, and aviation. I know at the moment aviation is getting hit pretty hard, so it might be 2-3 years down the line. Nonetheless, we are committing to meeting IATA 753 requirements at that point. So I will start with healthcare, which seems to be like fairly hot at the moment, specifically when you need to monitor and track the assets that you have in hospitals or warehouses with regards to PPE. A typical installation would be in a hospital. Say you have a very large closet that has a doorway. What you could do with the advanced reader is install it on a doorway and have an antenna, 2 antennas, one outside of the door and one inside of the door, and you can connect the advanced reader to Wi-Fi, or in certain cases, if you do not want to use the hospital network, you could use a hotspot. And what you will do is you will connect that advanced reader to the Zone Manager Enterprise, which is in the cloud. And at that point, what you will be able to do is track the movement of the assets in real time, and that data is sent directly to the Zone Manager Enterprise in the cloud. And what a customer would do is then receive push notifications from the Zone Manager Enterprise in the cloud to their software, saying that an asset has been moved in and out of a certain areas. And at that point, the customer could do what they want with their data. They could order equipment or act accordingly. In addition, some of the other implementations that you could do with in healthcare is to create a smart cabinet, for example, and it could be a mobile cabinet as well, since the advanced reader can run full power for 4.5 hours. If it's not running full power, it would run for a longer period of time. And at that point, very simply, what you're able to do is monitor the content of your healthcare cabinet and detect when assets are removed or added. The interesting part of how you could use it too is if you add a camera on, say, the doorway, you're able also to log anytime a customer comes in and out. Who is the customer that's removing the assets for additional security? This is what we do with healthcare, and the advantage of this as well is that you can have this advanced reader installed in hundreds of hospitals. And what the Zone Manager Enterprise would do is would provide you all these tags in real time coming from all those different hospitals. In addition, one of the other things also that is interesting is that every reader provides its status information in real time and allows a customer from the Zone Manager Enterprise, which is a common dashboard, to configure the readers remotely, download data as well as doing upgrades. And if one of the readers, say, malfunctions for any reason, say the internet is down, the customer is informed and can act accordingly. That's in healthcare. On the supply chain side, and with regards to the advanced reader, one of the advantages of how it can be used, obviously it can be used on a doorway situation. It can also be used on a ceiling where you want to monitor your assets in real time. But in addition, you could have your advanced reader on a forklift. So one of the interesting implementation is, say you have a really a warehouse that's 100,000 square feet or more, and you need to know where your assets are dropped or picked up by the forklift. And in certain cases, adding active solution to track where your assets are in real time can be very costly. One solution that you could do is have the advanced reader on the forklift and have a camera. And so when your assets are tagged with a passive UHF RAIN tag, the reader picks it up and knows the moment it got picked up by the forklift. And when the asset is dropped, it records the time when the asset is dropped and also takes a video capture of that event. And so now, if, say, your warehouse is divided up in lots and you have a lot number, what you could do is say, where is the asset? Well, the asset was dropped at that moment in time, and here's the video associated with it. And as a result, you will know where your assets are. And in certain cases, you could also take the video and do some image recognition on it. It could be OCR or just plain image recognition, and you can now know where your assets got dropped, regardless of how large your facility. And one of the advantages as well that we have with the reader, with the advanced reader, is that because we store the data locally on the reader first, you do not need to have Wi-Fi enabled. What will happen is, throughout your warehouse, what will happen is the advanced reader will store the data on the reader itself, and then when it gets to the Wi-Fi range, it will stream automatically the data to the server or even the cloud in real time. The other also key implementation that I will discuss is the access control. So now some of our customers, a bit advanced, you could say, they found the use of UHF, particularly when you're trying to, have a robot access a certain areas. Well, in certain cases, it's a bit difficult to swipe an HF using a robot. Have a robot swipe a card on HF. What you could do in this case is just have antennas that are outside the doorway, and as soon as the robot is within reach, you're able to automatically access the doorway. We're doing that obviously with current customers that do not have robots. Makes it a bit easier. In addition, if you add a video capture capability on this, you will be able to know who's coming in and who's coming out. And lately, what we're currently developing, and that's brand new, we're also adding a thermal camera to our access control in order to measure the eye socket temperature and determine if the person has a high temperature or not. And if they do, we will not open the door, and we can send the appropriate message to the to management or security to alert them that somebody has a high temperature, and thus reducing the risk. That's on the access control. We're one of the few companies that's actually, even though we are an OEM, because of our advanced software, we're able to provide some turnkey solutions there. And lastly is aviation. And what we're doing is really ease the cost itself to allow airports throughout the world to do some tracking using RFID. RFID is really essential in airports because it dramatically decreases the false read rates that's currently occurring as a result of using barcode scanner as well as OCR. And what we're doing with aviation is not only increasing the reliability of reading the tags in real time on the conveyor belts, but also reducing the a problem in general is called singularization, where an antenna in certain cases picks up more than one tag. And when it picks up more than one tag, you do not know which bag you read. But we're using image recognition to do this, to recognize that that bag belongs to that tag. That's what we're doing with aviation. Another thing we're doing as well is we're enabling the advanced reader to be on, say, a mobile baggage, a baggage handler. And at that point, the advantage of the advanced reader is that it can be on a mobile unit, and it doesn't need Wi-Fi or a live server to communicate to run the reader. So what it's doing is it stores all the data and the assets, and then when the mobile unit gets to Wi-Fi, it streams the data directly to the server.
Danny, we have about 5 minutes left.
Okay. I will just conclude. Thank you, Mark. I'll just conclude. We've done, the company is 16 employees at the moment, and we're growing. In the past 2 years, we've introduced a wide variety of fixed readers and advanced reader. They're all plug and play, and their whole sole purpose is to dramatically decrease the complexity of an RFID implementation and decrease the cost. We're all FCC certified. We just won our second patent at the moment, and we're on our way to win our third patent to be granted. And I'm open for questions.
Okay. Do the camera and GPS have to come from your company, or can someone attach a generic device to the reader?
At the moment, we have a select number of cameras. No, they have to come from our company simply because there's a bit of software that's involved and integration efforts that we did in order to have the association with the RFID event to work properly. However, the type of company we listen to our customers, and we are usually fairly flexible, and we develop fairly fast. So if someone has a need for a different camera, we can meet their demands.
Okay. Can you elaborate on security, i.e. tamper-evident features, authenticity, etc.?
Yes. So, for example, for the access control, locally what we do is we compare the TID as well as the tag number to ensure that that tag is unique. And in general, we work with the most reputable companies that are partners of ours in the world to ensure that we get the best tags at that point. In addition, any type of streaming that's occurring between the reader and the cloud is at the moment AES encrypted. So all our data is encrypted at that point. In addition, all of our firmware running on the reader is fully encrypted at that point.
Okay. Can you give us an idea of the cost of the reader?
Yes. So we are a SaaS company where we're selling the hardware for the advanced reader starts at $10.99, and then depending on the software features that are required, you are paying for software a one-time fee. And in general, we also have a very nominal fee on a yearly basis to maintain the software on the readers. On the Zone Manager Enterprise, we host our own servers, and therefore the cost of hosting to our company is dramatically low based on the number of assets that you have. It can start at $1,600 for an individual seat, up to $10,000 for less than 10,000 seats, then $25,000 for 25,000 assets, and then unlimited starts at $50,000 for the Zone Manager Enterprise Cloud. And then it's a nominal fee on a yearly basis. And I mean, if I want to compare a bit of what it would cost you if you want to run on Azure, it's dramatically more expensive. That end.
Okay. Can the cloud be a private corporate cloud?
Absolutely. So we provide a lot of flexibility on how we want to stream the data. Currently, the Zone Manager Enterprise is on the cloud. However, the Zone Manager Enterprise also resides on a server locally as well, and can reside on a corporate cloud. The entire stack is ours. We do not use any third-party REST APIs to allow the flexibility to our customers on where they want to store their data.
Okay. Where are the readers available globally? Are they certified for Europe, for example? Can they be used in Asia?
Absolutely. They're fully certified for North America, for Europe, the Middle East, as well as certain areas in the world, in Asia, Korea, Japan. And on a need-by-need basis, we will acquire the necessary certification too. As you know, we are between 865, 867 for Europe, and then 902 to 928 megahertz in North America. And some countries just vary within that frequency range, and we accommodate that appropriately.
Okay. Are the SDKs and APIs available to integrate into a customer's own software application?
Absolutely. The customer has those APIs available. They could do the work on the reader itself, or they could use the SDK from the cloud or an enterprise server. They are available and fairly easy to use. They're using the JSON protocol. And once you see the list of REST APIs that we have, it's really easy to interface with our readers. It's all about start, stop, read the tags, read the history in one command.
Okay, last question. Do you white label the solution?
We have an additional cost to white label the solution, and we're here to really meet the needs of our customers in any way we can. It's not really about RFRain only. It's about meeting really the needs of many, many customers for asset tracking. And passive RFID is really making a comeback in a huge way, because the tags are inexpensive, they do not require a battery, and most importantly, when you have complex, sophisticated system, like I would say ours, it allows you to do a wide variety of implementations in many different verticals. So we're very happy that we're supporting RAIN and UHF Passive all the way.
Okay. Danny, thank you very much for a terrific presentation.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Mark.